Saturday, December 12th. This is the Nakusa Beethoven 250th birthday spectacular concert. And we have people from all over the country and all around the world. And you are all welcome. And you're welcome to invite your friends, your relatives, your companion animals, anyone that you'd like to experience wonderful, beautiful new music and to celebrate the awesomeness of Beethoven. And we are celebrating Beethoven's 250th birthday here, but around the world there are also celebrations going on and that have been going on for over a year and will continue going on well into next year. So Beethoven's birthday is not a day, but it is a kind of state of mind of honoring great music and traditions. And I just wanted to show you a little bit of what's going on around the world. And we'll just take a moment on that, and then we'll introduce one of our special guests. I don't know if you can see that, that very impressive sculpture of Beethoven. And that's in Guangdong, China, where they are having a Beethoven 250th birthday celebration all year long, playing dozens and dozens of Beethoven works in concert, and they've erected this very impressive statue. And I don't know if you can see closely enough that the inscription on the piano, on the statue, includes a music stave, which is the theme from the Ode to Joy. And then it's a little information about Beethoven and his dates in Chinese and then in English. The best Beethoven celebrations are happening in Bonn, Beethoven's birthplace, where they are incredibly creative and memorable. And I believe that that's 500 statues of Ludwig van Beethoven. And that's pretty impressive. But for our purposes especially, the most impressive thing of all is the 250 piano pieces for Beethoven, mammoth multi-year international project created by a true visionary who we are so very fortunate to have with us. This is the cover of Volume 1, and then you can see next to it all 10 volumes that contain actually over 250 piano pieces for Beethoven. The response to this has been truly exceptional. Well, actually, she has them right next to her, of her 10-volume magnum opus.
Hello, dear David, and hello, everybody. It's such an honor to be with you tonight. It's my first Zoom meeting in English, and I usually speak English 2 hours a year. So please excuse my low vocabulary. Thanks for having me here.
So can you tell us a few words about your inspiration for this project? We're actually going to be hearing 4 works that were originally commissioned by Susanne for her 250 piano pieces for Beethoven project.
Yes, well, I was born in Bonn, and I'm a Bonn citizen in the 4th and 5th generation already. And of course, here in Bonn, we have a very close relationship to Beethoven. And it was obvious that a musician who is living in Bonn has to offer a great gift to Beethoven and to be one of the organizers of the birthday party. And so almost 8 years ago, I had the idea to ask 250 composers personally for a piano piece to write for Beethoven with reference to Beethoven and to his music, to have a sort of Festschrift or a catalog, which is usually done in written form by musicologists when there is a large birthday coming up of a composer or a musician. And I wanted to have that catalog this time, not just in written texts, but in music from all over the world, showing in all possible styles, in avant-garde and jazz and pop and rock and funk and punk, to show how important Beethoven is 250 years after his birth in almost all Western orientated countries, so to say. And well, it was a it was a long time. It was 7 years. It took me to get all the pieces and to publish them in 10 volumes in wonderful publishing house Edition Musica Ferrum in London. And I played all the pieces and I corresponded with all the composers and sponsors all the time. So it was really a great time. It's almost 40 composers from USA in the project. So it's really great to be here tonight.
It's great to have you here. And I'm sure that you'll be back very soon. But I want to start the musical portion of our program now. So we're going to go back to the gallery view. And I'm going to start our concert with a kind of overture called Ode to Beethoven by our member and esteemed Vice President, Richard Derby, who will also be performing the work.
Hey there, it's Beethoven's birthday. Let's all celebrate the man. He's the one, the great composer, writing tunes like no one can. Course we'll have to social distance, that's too bad, but what the hey. We'll perform our own new music and pay tribute anyway, just anyway. We'll perform our own new music and pay tribute anyway.
Thank you very much.
That was wonderful and unique.
And original.
And original, yes. Well, almost all of the music on this program is going to be original new music that was composed for either the 250 pieces for Beethoven or for this concert, with one exception. So our next work, I'd like Susanne to be the person to introduce, because she's not only the performer, but she's the person who commissioned the work from the wonderful polymath composer Bruce Broughton.
Yes, of course. Bruce Broughton is a name I think I don't have to introduce to you, American composers. It's a fantastic film composer and a giant of his arts. Bruce Broughton, I was introduced to him because he got a prize in Cologne a few years ago for his lifetime achievement. And then I contacted him if he wants to take part in the project. And at that time, he already heard about the project because that was running already for a few years. So I was very lucky that he answered, well, yes, I heard about your project and I want to write a piece. I don't know if he had said that years before. So I was very happy to get a piece by him. He refers to the Fifth Symphony, the main motive "Ta-da-da-dam" of the Fifth Symphony, and it's a very virtuoso, repetitive. I don't know the word in English, with a lot of repetitions. It's a typical piece which virtuoso pianists wish for as an encore piece, for example. It's the title is "Kannst du mich noch hören," which is translated maybe as "Can you still hear me?" And it is referring to Beethoven's deafness. And that's the reason also why it is getting so loud in the middle. And it's just the question, can you still hear me and my motives? And maybe we can.
Bravo, fantastic.
Thank you.
A very impressive performance.
Thank you. That's a fantastic piece, really.
Yes, yes.
Not all the pieces are that difficult, but
Well,
many.
We could see the sparks flying from your fingertips. Very impressive.
Yes, thank you.
Next, another wonderful piece by a giant of music that may not be as familiar to everyone, but perhaps now he will be. Tell us about Jörg Holler's piece.
Jörg Holler is living close to Bonn, close to Cologne and Bonn. He's a giant in Europe, absolutely. So we see the differences in culture, of course. Jörg Holler writes large operas, which when they are ready, immediately are premiered in the Paris Opera House and so on. So there you see he's really on the one of the top composers. He studied not just composition, but also electronic composition. He's very, he has many styles and skills. His piece for this project is, the title is Weit, entfernt und doch so nah, which is in the English translation, it's far away and yet so close. So he took the note names of Ludwig van Beethoven's name and composed with those notes. It is DGA for Ludwig van and BEEHE for the name Beethoven, but in Germany your note B is our Ha. We have the H is your B, so to say, and our B is your B flat. So it is not understandable immediately, maybe for the English-speaking music world, but these are the notes of the name Beethoven. And he wrote in a very modern style that is orientated and at Beethoven's permanent development, which he used always for his first movements and why he got so famous for. And well, rhythmically and gesturally, he imitates Beethoven, but in a very modern style. There's also a little fugue. Beethoven loved Bach and the fugues. So you hear, I think, a composition, one of those we could imagine that Beethoven could sound like that nowadays. There are many different styles where I would say that, but for this piece, I would also say it.
Thank you for that very eloquent introduction.
Oh,
And now let's listen. Brilliantly done.
Thank you so much.
There's so many different textures,
Yes,
so many different
fantastic.
moods in that piece. I'm wondering, is that something that you really have to prepare for, all those changes?
You mean if I have to practice that?
No, I mean mentally. I'm sure you have to practice.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Even Yo-Yo Ma
I practiced
practices.
for months, yes, of course. And your color was sitting next to me in the concert. It's always so exciting. Well, these pieces for me are now absolutely classical music because I lived with them for years. I played that piece 50 or 60 times in concerts. So
Wow.
I really I can play it when I sleep. I think it's very familiar now to me. I cannot answer to that question, I think.
That's wonderful. Well, if everyone could unmute themselves for a moment, let's give some applause to Susanne now, because we don't know if she'll be able to stay here later. All right.
Thank you.
So now you're free to go if you need to, but if you wish to stay, you're welcome.
I will stay, of course.
I hope you will stay. That would be wonderful.
Yes, and next
so
we're
nice.
going to have something from a Nakusa member, Ian Wiese. And Ian, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about your work.
All right, yeah. So my work is the second movement of a small collection of two mazurkas, which I titled After Beethoven. Probably the most creative title I could have imagined for this piece. And it's a pastiche on Beethoven's second movement. I thought for a little while, I was listening to in my car to the seventh second movement, and I thought while I was doing this, because this could work potentially as a mazurka if it had a couple of changes done to it, particularly in terms of the rhythm and grouping of things. Now, it happened to be at the time that one of the piano faculty at NEC, Victor Rosenbaum, was commissioning a bunch of the student composers as part of a commissioning series he runs for a concert called The Mazurka Reimagined. So I did my first one, which is titled Slightly More Than a Little Bit Tipsy. And then I had the opportunity to write the second one, After Beethoven, which is almost exactly the seventh movement kind of condensed down to become a mazurka.
Thank you. That was excellent.
Thank you.
Next piece is going to be from Deon Price. And Deon is here and can speak very eloquently about her composition process and the performance. So take it away, Deon.
Okay.
Deon Price.
Well, my tribute is a song cycle I call Ludwig's Letter to Eternal Beloved. And in this song cycle, he's desperately in love with someone who's far away. And historically, there has been a lot of speculation about who this woman could be. And I won't go into that, but it's Phil's books. My music is in a quasi-Beethoven style, inspired by his own song cycle, which I'll tell you about in a minute. His is called An die ferne Geliebte, to the distant beloved, that he composed on poetry by another poet, by Hetz. But I am excited that my text is Beethoven's own words, his own love letter, which is in an English word for word translation that I was by Virginia Bears, and I was able to get permission from the publishers to use the words. I was going to look, some of them might be here. I don't know if they are. But when they found Beethoven's letters, you know, in the late 1800s, all of his letters were published in German. And this one, this love letter, was found written in pencil on 10 small pieces of paper while Beethoven was still in bed in the early morning. So he's bemoaning the fact that he's away from his lover. And about 4 years later, he wrote his own song cycle on the words of this other poet in 1816. And he's still separated. So he's still in agony over that. But his own song cycle is the first known song cycle by a great composer. And it had great influence on many other composers, especially I think of Schumann and his great song cycles. I'm really grateful to Darryl Taylor, counter-tenor, who was willing to tackle this at the last minute. I was not planning to really write anything, and one morning I woke up and thought about this song cycle, his song cycle that I had played on my all Beethoven recital for my doctorate at USC many years ago. And so his music is well in my ear. And I borrowed some of his thematic material and some of his accompaniment patterns. And you will hear his influence in the music. I wanted to tell you there are 6 songs in his cycle. So I took his letter and extracted from it. I didn't use the entire letter, but I extracted the lyrics for 6 songs like his, but mine are shorter than his to meet the 10-minute time limit we had. I just want to tell you a few fragments from the letter before we hear Darryl sing it. And the words are printed in the program, which I don't know if you have on the chat or, you know, but he starts out saying, still in bed am I, good morning. But my thoughts are about my beloved, both sad, both happy, both sad, awaiting fate to see if they're going to meet their goal of living together. And he says, how can our love exist but by sacrifice? Why do we have to separate ourselves when we love so? Then he steps back and he says, when I see myself in the framework of the universe, what am I? What is he whom one calls greatest? And yet herein is the divine spark of man. Then he goes back to his lover. He says, I've resolved to stray about until I can fly into your arms entirely at home with you. And then they end with, look upon nature, calm your soul until we reach our goal to live together. So that's the idea of it. And Darryl, thank you for singing it. It was a challenge to put it together during the pandemic. He's in one city, I'm in another. We couldn't really go to somebody's living room and say, can we borrow your piano for an hour? You know, but we made it work.
I think it's beautiful, and now let's listen.
day, what longing, longing with tears, tears for you, for you. You, my love, my all. Oh, continue to love me forever, ever yours. Forever, ever mine. Forever, ever ours. Forever,
I should mention that Deon's work is available through Naxos. She does orchestral work, chamber work, lots of wonderful music. All right, next is Matthew Hetz, and I'm not sure if he's going to introduce his piece or not. All right, well, since he's not here,
May I just say something before you go into that?
Okay, sure.
Darryl Taylor, Strong, does many wonderful songs on my latest CD that you mentioned. It's called Radiance, and Cambria is the label distributed by Naxos. But Darryl stars on that. He's featured on many types of music that's a long story. I won't go into it, but he's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. So next up, we have L Van B 31.3 by Matthew Hetz and performed by Matthew Hetz. And I'm just going to go straight into the performance because you can read about it in the program notes that are in the chat, or you may have gotten them in the email. So here is L Van B 31.3. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Matthew. So Alex is here, and after it's done, after you've heard it, we can all applaud her. But we're going to play the video first, and it will have its own introduction by the wonderful pianist Adam. So without any further ado, here we go.
This one-page piece is by my good friend Alex Shapiro. I have recorded her complete works for solo piano, which should be available on Innova Records, hopefully by the end of 2020. One of the pieces on that album is a one-page piece, and so we wanted to include it here in this project. It's called Chord History and was commissioned by Susanne Kessel, a wonderful pianist who over the last number of years has commissioned 250 miniatures in honor of Beethoven's 250th birthday. This piece, Chord History, takes some of the harmonies and chords from Beethoven's most famous works for piano, his sonatas, and strips them of their context and kind of creates a different world where you're moving between these harmonies that originally existed in different pieces.
Chord History by Alex Shapiro. And there's an interesting story about the genesis of that piece, that if Alex and Susanne and everyone wants to stay afterwards, they can go into how that was begun. But I think we should go straight into our next piece, which is by another NACUSA member and past president of NACUSA, Greg Steinke. Greg, are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. We're going to make you the speaker, and please introduce.
Yes, thank you, David, and thank you for this opportunity to present this piece. It's a very early work of mine, and the tie-in with Beethoven is the fact that at the time I wrote this, I was also playing the Beethoven Trio in C major for 2 oboes and English horn, which many people don't know about, but it's in the oboe world, it's a well-known piece. In any event, I decided to write a sonata and use the trio as kind of to track that as the formal construction, and then of course the other tie-in is the instrumentation. Other than that, the harmonic and tonal ideas, melodic ideas, are very much 20th century. And at the time, I was kind of in my Bartók period. So there's kind of a Bartókian influence throughout the whole piece. The one thing that I didn't do is that I reversed the 2 internal movements, so that there's a scherzo and adagio, which normally would come second and third. I put just reverse position that one would expect to find those in. I don't think I need to say much more about it. And I had a lot of fun. I remember I had a lot of fun writing this piece and being very much inspired by a certain kind of Beethoven spirit as I wrote it. You'll hear two movements out of the piece today: the opening Allegro Giocoso and a scherzo that has a trio, and that's what you'll be hearing today out of the work.
Next up on the program is something by myself, your host, David Raiklen. And the piece that you're going to hear has an interesting little story. It began as a commission from Susanne Kessel for the 250 piano pieces for Beethoven. And I was absolutely thrilled to have the chance to participate in that. And even as I was writing it, I realized that at least for me personally, that one movement was not enough to do justice to Beethoven. I needed to do something more, a three-movement work. So those of you who have heard the bagatelle movement, you've already heard that, but this today is going to be the premiere of the second and third movements, and they are a vocalese on themes of Beethoven that are rare, and most of you probably will never have heard these themes before unless you're a real Beethoven aficionado. But I think that there's much beauty and wisdom in this music, and hopefully my updating of the themes will be enjoyable. And I'm sure you'll enjoy the performance by Katherine Saxon, our soprano supreme, and by Kacey Link, our wonderful pianist. Vocalese on themes of Beethoven, 2 movements.
Oh
Aren't they wonderful? All right, next is our last piece on the scheduled program, and that's Homage to B5 by Adrian Albert, and Adrian is here to tell you all about it.
Well, thank you, David. First of all, I want to thank you for hosting this wonderful program. And secondly, I want to thank Susanne for staying up all these late hours so that you can be with us for this whole program.
Wonderful. It's wonderful to be here.
And I want to thank Alex for introducing me to Susanne and Susanne to me, because if it weren't for Alex, I don't know that I would be part of the 250 pieces for Beethoven. And when I thought about writing this piece, you know, having been a pianist all of my childhood, before I became a singer, I thought of, you know, pieces like Moonlight Sonata and What Would I Do and so forth and so on. But then I came up with, of course, I think the most gorgeous piece of music almost ever written, the second movement of the Beethoven Seventh Symphony, the Adagietto. And Susanne, I'd love to just hear you talk a little bit about when you got the piece and all of these pieces that are presented to you and that are completely new to you. And how do you take them in?
First of all, thank you so much for taking part, Adrian. Of course, it's an honor to have you in the project. Well, as I'm not a composer, I'm a pianist who is used to play pieces which I never knew before. So I grew up as a child who played a lot of contemporary music. So it's normal for me to get any piece nobody has ever played before, and I didn't hear in the radio before or on an LP. And this is how I was educated. I think this helped a lot to do such a project, to just be the pianist for composers. So I love that, to have a lot of sheet music that I can practice and that I don't know before. And well, I invited so many different composers. When your piece came, because we didn't know each other before, it's exactly as you said it, Alex Shapiro put us together. I didn't know so much about you. You didn't know anything about me, I think. So let's try it. And when it came, I found it so beautiful. It is exactly that, that contrast to avant-garde music that I was looking for, just to have also like those almost film music melodies and a sort of tango is found in your piece. It's fantastic. Anytime I play it in concert, people love it. So it is really a great piece to have in this collection.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. And we're also honored to have you here. And now, David, I guess we'd love to hear Susanne play my Homage to B7.
I just want to say one word about the bad visual quality. This was filmed in an evening I gave together with a dancer, and we had no light on me, and it was very dark in the room. And your piece was one of the pieces where the dancer was not dancing to, because it speaks so much for itself, but that's why it looks so dark.
So we can all close our eyes and listen.
Maybe, or dance.
Or dance. Thank you.
Brava tutti. That's so exquisite. It's beyond words. Uh, and I love the way that the music is so perfect, and the camera work is not perfect. It's like life.
But that's part of that project. It's all open in all directions.
All right. Well, we're going to end the musical portion of the program, but not the discussion, with a quick encore from an animated young fan of Beethoven.
You never know how Beethoven is going to affect someone.
And that's true. You never know how Beethoven is going to affect someone, but hopefully we've all had a positive experience from these wonderful artists. So thank you all for participating. Thank you all for attending, and a final round of applause for all of the artists.
Thank you.
Well done, all. Well done. Now, if anyone has to go, that's fine. And if anyone would like to stay, I'll keep the conversation going as long as we're interested. And I, for one, would like to hear something from Katherine or Kacey, because I think they did a wonderful job singing, and I'd like to have their input.
I'm here.
Even if it's just off screen.
I haven't found myself yet. I'm here. Yay.
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 I just want to say thank you to David for giving me the kick and asking me to sing, because it had been a very long time since I had sung in public. So so we had a lot of fun putting that together, and yeah, we really enjoyed it. Yeah, so thank you for calling and asking us to do it.
Well, you're welcome. I do have to say that Katherine made some excellent suggestions on how to make that piece better, and it is better thanks to her input. And sometimes I think that collaboration actually is better, even for artists who tend to work solitary, like writers and composers. And even sculptors, you know, we all tend to work by ourselves, but sometimes collaboration can really bring out something that we wouldn't have thought of ourselves, and might be even a little bit better. And I'm wondering, not to put you guys on the spot, but I understand that there was a little bit of a collaboration between Alex and Susanne in the creation of Chord History. If Alex is still here, or did she go?
Yeah. No, there absolutely was, and it was quite wonderful. I knew already that with an homage to Beethoven, I wanted to include one particular chord that I had played a gazillion times, the great C minor chord from the beginning of the Pathetique. And it occurred to me, well, nobody knows Beethoven's chords better than Susanne, having played them her whole life probably. And so I asked her, I said, okay, I know what my favorite chord is, and it's going in this little piece. What are your favorite Beethoven chords? And I asked her to think about it. And then she mentioned some of them to me. You know, I don't know if it was the Waldstein, the Appassionata, whatever, from whatever of his sonatas. I don't remember specifically right now. And but then when she told me, I said, I want you to go into your music literature and just take a snapshot of the actual chord, so I would have the correct voicing of the chord, and send that to me, and then I will use that exact chord. It's like an Easter egg hunt in the little short piece. It's a very short piece. And I'll weave those chords into the piece, and that's how we worked very collaboratively that way. And it gave me great joy because, you know, for a brief moment in time, Beethoven and Kessel and Shapiro are united, you know? So.
I would like to tell you, in Bonn, of course, we have a large fan community for Beethoven, and there are people who know Beethoven's chords much better than me because they really deal with Beethoven all the time, while I play different pieces all the time. And when I play for that audience, they really recognized those chords when I played your piece. I just play Alex Shapiro's piece, and then they said, "Oh, I heard this and that and that and that," and this is really Bonn audience, you know. This is a piece for a Bonn audience.
Absolutely. We included in the published score, we included one page, the piece is only one page. There is another page that shows the chords and the exact quote from the piece, you know, from each piece, which piece they came from. So that was fun. I can't thank Susanne enough for this vision that she had years ago. I mean, it is extraordinary what you've created, my friend, and it is just this utter labor of love. Also with Nick Sedaris. Nicholas Sedaris is the publisher that she has partnered with for all this time, who's put his heart into it as well, and these editions are gorgeous. So yeah,
Quickly,
just
Diana
congratulations.
has a question. If we could get some questions and answers going. Diana.
Yes. Hi. You know, I've been involved with Nakusa for what's this, the 50th anniversary? Is this the 50th anniversary, 50?
It's like past 80. It's
Oh,
like 80.
oh, well, I'm not. I haven't been there that long,
anniversary.
but I've been involved with Nakusa for almost 50 years, and I can tell you, a program like this follows in the tradition of the quality, and I think that the people that belonged many years ago and founders would be very proud of the fact that this organization has grown and has prospered and can put together a program of this quality. So I just wanted you to know, from the historical point of view, which I certainly can speak, it's very special. I mean, when I was originally a member, Mario Castelnuovo Tedesco was part of it, and Marshall Blanowski was one of the earlier presidents. So that you can see it goes back a long time, and you can be proud of the achievements that you're doing today.
Thank you so much. It's a tradition that hopefully will continue. We're going to have lots more concerts coming up. But Yoko.
Hi, David, and hi, everybody. Thank you so much. And it's wonderful performances and wonderful pieces. I really enjoyed, and I regretted I didn't submit my piece. Actually, I had one which called Bay East Ice, which is I composed in Berlin. So it's in German, but it's an orchestra piece. And I somehow misunderstood. We have to perform on live in front of people. So I cannot do that, this orchestra piece. So I didn't submit, but it's a riddle. And now we all know I inspired of a Bay composer eating ice cream. And how that be? And so I was imagining Beethoven eating ice cream, and that is my inspiration. So it's not only that Beethoven's piece was a little fragmented, but there's a Bach, Brahms, Bartok, and a lot of big composers. So it's a little bit in the fragmentation in the piece, but its answer is the Beethoven. So it's a riddle. It's a riddle for my piece to the audience. So I enjoyed composing, and if you have a 251 anniversary, and definitely I'd like to submit. And I'm sorry, I misunderstood. But anyway.
We'll have another piano or other ensemble concert within the next couple of months. And, you know, anyone who's a composer is and a member is welcome to submit, and anyone who's a composer who's not a member is welcome to join anywhere in the world. We basically have a pay-as-you-can program going on during the pandemic, so you can join and pay what you can. If it's $20, that's fine, and then you can submit for our programs.
Thank you very much. I will do that. Yeah.
And get on the mailing list so you'll know when the call for scores go out. We're hoping one will be happening in January. And oh yeah, Jeannie is reminding me to tell you all about the Monday night Nakusa conversations. Most Monday evenings at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern time, we have a series of seminars and conversations with composers about music, for composers, and for anyone who loves music. And our topics have ranged from the intricacies and analysis of Elliott Carter and the performance of composers on the Welte Mignon reproducing piano, where we got to hear Debussy play Debussy live, to very practical things like mock-ups for composers, how to use electronics to create a simulation of a performance. And again, they're free to all members of the public. All you have to do is get on the mailing list. And I guess I should put in the chat how to get on the mailing list is you could mail me or to nakuzala@gmail.com. And let me put that in there and talk amongst yourselves.
I'd like to say something, if I may. This is Carolyn Beck.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say what an extraordinary pleasure it is to hear Susanne again. I had the pleasure of meeting her and hearing and having her California album, because I'm friends with Alex, of course. And I so love that album. I can't even tell you. It just, it's so wonderful. And
Thank you so much.
I always thought I should find a way to talk to Alex and say, how can I get in touch with her and tell her how fabulous it is? And I never did. And here I am now having the opportunity.
Well, thank you, Carolyn. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't expect that. Great that someone is thinking of that.
Goodness.
Alex, thanks.
Such a treat. I mean, when a musician gives you real joy, it's just something special. And
I should come to LA or to USA again. I would love to.
Please.
After COVID, I will come.
Great.
You should. You have so many fans here, Susanne.
Oh, wow, even more than
and they're incredible musicians themselves, like Carolyn Beck.
Yes, I see.
I could imagine you guys playing together, having amazing.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
Oh my God.
And you'll have so many places to stay.
Yes, and so many free meals and drinks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, if you have not had a chance to look at the website or her Vimeo channel, you really, really are missing something very good. This is the website where you can get the audio recordings as MP3s, or you can get them as CDs. You can also order the scores, from the different volumes or individual pieces. And if you go to her Vimeo channel, there's an incredible panoply of music in every possible style, from prepared pianos that sound like gamelons to sweet and gentle lullabies. It's really quite a treasure of music. And of course, it's all new music, thanks to Susanne. And I'm sure that this is going to be of historic importance. And you know how I'm so confident? It's because there are academics who are keeping track of all of the works that have been dedicated to Beethoven for his 250th anniversary. And I know several of us have submitted our works to him. So it's already made it into the history books.
And I just wanted to mention, of course, that there are two composers who weren't played right now, who also wrote a piece for the project, which is David Lefkowitz. I think he just left, I'm not sure. And also you, David Raiklen, you talked about it, but it's a fantastic piece you sent to this project, and I want to thank you again very much. We chose 3 or 4 pieces for today, but I'm sure next time it will be your piece among them. Thank you so much.
Well, I'd love to hear your recording of it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm always open for collaboration. So if it can be better, then tell me, and it'll be better.
It is a wonderful piece. I just didn't have them. You know, it's a no budget project. It is incredible to tell them.
Anyone, they'd never know.
Well, it is very interesting to tell it, because it really it's just without money, and it is 260 private people from Bonn who donated for the printing of the scores. So this is a real neighborhood of Beethoven project.
Yes. And it's in 10 volumes, which is kind of interesting in itself, because I don't know if, Alex Shapiro was in the first volume. And I think that that's really cool that she was in the first volume. And I think that Adrian was in volume 5.
No, 3.
No, she was in 3. Oh, was it Bruce that was in volume 5?
Yes, true.
And I thought that was kind of appropriate, that, you know, he was quoting the 5th Symphony in the 5th volume.
So Adrian is in the wrong volume, you mean?
Yeah, she should be in the 7th. You know.
Yes, I will reprint it all. No problem.
And another beloved LA composer, Bill Kraft, is also in volume 1.
Right.
As well.
And Joan Huang.
And Joan is in it, but which volume is she in?
1.
She's in 1 as well? I thought she was in 2 for some reason. Okay,
no.
1. Yeah.
And also William Kinderman is in 1. Bill Kinderman. And
what about Peter Nell? Peter Cannell? Isn't he?
Peter Nell is in 3 as well with you.
Right.
It's in your volume.
Susanne gets a medal just for remembering all of this, and out of 250
remember
what volume they're in.
I even remember all sponsors. Who is the sponsor of whose composer? And I meet them on the street, and they are sad when I don't remember, you know.
Well, to be part of it is really an honor, and I think that I actually feel even more like this is something special as time has gone by. I was thrilled to be invited, but I think it's, you know, as the whole project has gone to completion and we're seeing all the other Beethoven celebrations, it's easier to see how far ahead of your time you were. This started 7 years ago, right? And,
well, I'm someone who loves to work alone, on my own, and be a soloist and organize things. And so I knew it would take at least 7 years. It would have been better to have had that idea 2 years even before. So 9 years would have been better. But now I've got an extra year to do the rest of the recordings, because the Beethoven year is now longer, until September. I will make it, I think. It's 220 recordings I made so far. So I will go through that, I hope so.
Wow. Well, I'm sure that there are other artists who've recorded a lot, but it's very, very few have recorded as much, let alone more, than Susanne has. And I think that that's really one of the amazing things that is possible with 21st century technology, is it's possible for artists to build a substantial body of work and get it out there to the public without having to wait for a gatekeeper to give you permission to do that.
Yes, that's true.
Susanne, I wanted to ask you about what is happening with your volumes. And I mean, I would assume that Well, I mean, schools, universities.
Yeah, okay. Yes, well, the university bibliothèque are buying more and more, always all 10 volumes. And for example, there is a competition in Germany, a piano competition, which would have taken place in November. Normal piano literature, classical stuff, plus a special prize for 250 piano pieces for Beethoven. So all the participants could choose from all the pieces, play one of them, and get a special prize. The competition was canceled, of course, but the special prize section is still on and will take place over video. So there will be a prize for a pianist for 250 piano pieces for Beethoven. And I don't know yet which pieces will be played. I'm in the jury, but I will be involved just about next week when the videos will be shown. And other pianists already chose pieces from the scores and put them on their CDs. So it is going really its own path. And this is the first time in my life that I feel a little bit like a composer too, because something that I organized, or which was my idea, is now going its own way and is getting an adult, so to say. And I never had that with my own CDs as a pianist, but this is so special when you premiere those pieces and then you switch on Facebook and then someone tells you, oh, I recorded that yesterday as well. That's fantastic to make it go around the world.
You are the creator of this creation.
Yes, that's true. But the real creator are the composers, of course. So it was I know it was a great idea, but it would never have worked if not so many composers wrote fantastic music. So that was not me, that was you. So thank you so much. We did it all together, of course.
Well, if somebody's looking for funk rock Beethoven, they can look at my bagatelle.
Yes, it's fun to play it. It's really big fun. It is the encore piece. It is not similar to Bruce Broughton's piece, but it's the same quality of piano piece, I would say.
Oh, that's really kind of you to.
No, it is the truth.
Now, our next conversation, I believe, is coming up on the 28th. That's, let's see, what is that? 2 weeks from Monday. Is that right? Oh, no, wait a minute. Our next conversation is Monday. That's right. Our next conversation is this Monday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And we're going to all learn a new Hanukkah Carol written for us by one of the members. And she's going to teach us how to sing it. That's going to be the first part of the program. So that should be fun. And maybe we'll finish it off with just singing carols over Zoom. And then on the 28th, which is 2 weeks, we're going to skip Christmas week. On the 28th, again, Monday at 7 p.m., we're going to have a listening party where our members each bring a piece that they would like to share that's brief. It could be, serious, or it could be comical, just a party piece, but just something that we can all listen to for a few minutes and chat about. We've done that several times, and everybody has a good time, and we all sip wine or whatever you'd like, and just hang out. So that's what's coming up next. And if you guys want to keep talking, that's fine. I'll be here. I just wanted to make sure you got those announcements out.
Well, I think we've kept Susanne up very late.
Yes.
And thank you so
I'm looking like that.
No, you look fabulous. You really do. And your
no
English
longer
is...
after the birthday. You should see me after the birthday. I will be fresh as.
That's great.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope to see you all again, maybe in the next meeting. I would love to join you because we are all at home all the time. It would be cool to listen again. It was fantastic to listen to your music. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for helping make it all possible. And everyone, I hope you have a wonderful evening and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and let's get together again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Alex. Bye, Adrian.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, David. Thank you so much.
Bye.